Welcome to TacosandGeeks.com. Justin here, and today we are going to be reviewing Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. This was recorded on my Switch Lite, so all gameplay footage here is for the Switch Lite, and this is our Switch Lite review. As always, I give you a brief synopsis of the game, so here we go. In the mako-powered metropolis of Midgar stands the headquarters of Shinra, a powerful company with a formidable private army. Zack Fair is a promising young operative in the Shinra military's elite unit, Soldier. Together with his mentor, Soldier First Class Angeal, and the soldier hero Sephiroth, Zack begins an investigation into the recent mass disappearance of soldier operatives. And if you have never played this game, this is one of the best video game prequels out there. It does a great job of fleshing out a side character who truly does have an important piece in the whole mythos of the Final Fantasy VII saga, Zack Fair. And the way they flesh out his character, his relationships with Cloud and Aerith, is something that you have to experience for yourself. I'm not going to go too deep into that just in case there are newcomers to the entire Final Fantasy VII franchise, but overall story is amazing. Now let's talk a little bit about the gameplay. This is an action JRPG, so go on are the turn-based days that you know, and for those who play the PSP version, you're going to be happy that the main gameplay is still intact with minor tweaks that does a great job of improving the game, such as gone is the fixed camera angle. You are now able to move your camera around freely, and this really does help when it comes to your battles, and I thought it was a welcome addition. Another great thing about this is that the DMW system has been a little bit overhauled as well. I'm gonna explain a little bit what the DMW system is, but now how the DMW system was in the PSP, your limit was automatically active once you got 3 of the same characters together. Now you have the ability to store it and use it anytime during the battle once you achieve the DMW, which I thought works very well, and it helps with more strategic elements for those harder bosses that you need to fight. Another overhaul that they're able to add is that you have the L button now to activate your materia directly, which I thought was worked very well instead of just going right on the like how it was on the PSP. And now you have the ability to kind of have this switch shortcut to attack your MP and AP attacks, which I thought worked very well. Overall, the graphics and the gameplay here does a stellar job in keeping things together, but there is more to Crisis Core here. I mean, it is a PSP game, and your lifeblood of Final Fantasy VII is your materia. And your materia system here plays just as well as you know from Final Fantasy VII. The more you use your materia, the more your materia you're able to master it. The more you master it, the more damage you're going to be able to do and birth new materia as well. So definitely use and choose wisely, because there are certain enemies that work with certain materias that are weak against. The DMW system, like I explained before, is when you have one of the same characters that appear 3 times in the slot, you're able to get a special attack on limit. And this one as well, the more summons that you encounter, you're able to incorporate them into the DMW system as well. And the way the power works for that is depending on the story too. You also have your missions. Now, this is where you're going to be spending a lot of time in Crisis Core, is your missions and doing missions. And this is very important because this is how you level up. This is how you get items. This is how you get things that's going to help you in the main course of the story. And it just shows you how Zack became such a great first-class soldier. Gameplay is solid. Now, let's talk a little bit about those graphics here. I wanted to do something a little bit different, which I never really do. I wanted to do a compare and contrast between the Switch Lite and the original PSP. And what an overhaul it is. It looks gorgeous on a Switch Lite. Now, if you look and notice at the PSP, it's a little more brighter. It's a little bit, it's very lighthearted. It's like just the world is very lighter. On the Switch Lite, it's much more darker into the same tone that you're seeing with the remake. And I think it captures Midgar very well. And just the aesthetics on how Sephiroth is. The animation is much more faster. The frame rate is better. It is a true remastered, and this is how remasters should be done going forward. not just a little bit of patches on frame rate, but an overhaul graphically. You kind of could call it a remake in certain aspects because just the way, even certain the cutscenes, you see more detail on Zack's muscles. You see a little bit more change in Angeal's face. It works just as well. It is just a beautiful remaster compared to the PSP, and I think this is how it should be done. And just give you a quick look at the graphics here of how the detail is. Everything has been completely overhauled. I don't know what I consider this kind of a remake just because the way they went into detail with this. Now let's go to sound.
I'll make first in no time.
Go up the stairs at the end of the platform.
You got it.
Thankfully, the music is still intact and it's just been a little bit more rearranged, and I think I think it's been re-recorded a little bit as well. Certain tracks, so it gives you more of that orchestra feel to it, which I thought worked very, very well. Voice acting. Now, this is the controversial part where a lot of people were upset that they recasted Zack. And I'm not gonna lie, in the beginning, I was not feeling the new voice actor who plays Zack, Caleb, and the performance grew on me as I continued to play the game, and I see where they were going with the Zack character. I think the voice acting is good. I know a lot of people have a lot of a more emotional connection to the original Crisis Core actors and the original Final Fantasy VII voice actors. But I say give these new people a chance, give these new actors and actresses a chance. I think they all do a stellar job. I will say some of the dialogue is cringy, but keep in mind this is a very old game. There are some new lines that have been recorded, and there are some lines there that I thought worked very well compared to the original script. So overall, I had to say that it's a pretty solid music and voice acting performance. So my final thoughts on this game, in the final grade, A minus, and that's mainly because there are some of the voice actors that's like, it's a little wonky from certain scenes, but overall in it, this is one hell of a package. This is one hell of a steal. This is Final Fantasy at its best. Final Fantasy VII at its best. I always loved Crisis Core. I played it to death on my PSP, and now just to see this remastered and just the way Square Enix took so much care graphically, frame rates, to make sure just the lighting, to just make sure it matches the aesthetics of the beast that is Final Fantasy VII Remake, and just the way it's now officially canon in that Final Fantasy VII Remake timeline. I absolutely love it, and I was hoping that they were going to do Crisis Core, and they finally did do Crisis Core. Now I'm curious to see what after they do the other Final Fantasy VII games. What's going to happen to Avid Children? What's going to happen to Dirge of Service? Are we going to be getting things such as that as well? Guys, ladies, everyone, pick this game up if you love Final Fantasy VII, or even if you're not a fan, you can pick this up and then go straight to the remake to see how it all plays out. The way it ends, it fits right into the remake. So definitely check this one out. A minus, must buy. Absolutely love it. This is Justin from mako-powered. If you like what we do here, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you're watching us on YouTube. Later days.